In a world veiled by mystery, Enoch, a man of unmatched righteousness, was summoned by divine messengers to embark on a journey no mortal could fathom, a breathtaking ascent through the 10 heavens, where celestial wonders, tormented souls, and the blazing throne of God himself await. What he witnessed will grip your soul and challenge your heart. Will you heed the eternal call? In an age long forgotten, Enoch, son of Jared, walked the earth with a heart ablaze for righteousness. His hands shaped wonders, his wisdom pierced the veil of the ordinary, and his devotion caught the eye of the Almighty. For this, he was granted a privilege no mortal could fathom, a journey into the celestial realms, a glimpse into the divine order where the Creator reigns supreme. What Enoch saw would shake the soul of any who hear it, a vision of glory and terror that burns through time itself. At 165, Enoch fathered Methuselah, and for 200 years more, he lived with purpose, his life stretching to 365 years. On the first day of a new month, as twilight draped the world, Enoch lay alone, a strange sorrow gripping his heart. Tears spilled from his closed eyes, unbidden, as if his soul sensed the weight of what was to come. Suddenly, the air shimmered, and 2 beings of unearthly majesty appeared. Towering and radiant, their faces glowed like the sun, their eyes blazed like fire, and flames danced from their lips. Their purple robes shimmered with divine splendor, their golden wings gleamed, and their hands shone pure as snow. Standing by his bedside, they called his name. Enoch awoke, heart pounding, his awe tinged with dread. "Do not fear, Enoch," their voices soothed, steady as a river over stone. "We are messengers of the eternal God. Today, you will ascend to the heavens. But first, prepare your household. Instruct your sons, for none must seek you until the Lord decrees your return." His breath caught, yet a divine calm steadied him. Enoch hurried home, each step heavy with destiny. By the flickering hearth, he gathered his sons, Methuselah, Rahim, and Gad, their faces lit with curiosity. "My sons," he began, his voice a low rumble of conviction, "I stand at the edge of a mystery. Heavenly beings have summoned me to realms unknown. I know not what awaits, but heed this, cling to the Most High. False gods, who neither shape the heavens nor carve the earth, lead only to ruin. Those who chase them fade to nothing." His sons leaned in, their eyes locked on his. "May the Lord grant you strength to walk his path," Enoch continued, his tone softening but unyielding. "Do not seek me. I will return when the Lord wills it. Trust him." The air crackled with the weight of his words. Before his sons could respond, a rush of wind filled the room. The radiant beings reappeared, their wings casting golden light that seemed to dissolve the walls. Enoch's sons stumbled back, gasping, as the angels encircled their father. In a heartbeat, he was lifted, weightless, soaring upward until the earth vanished beneath the cosmic expanse. Turn to astonishment. Enoch's ascension. A chill ran through Enoch as he stood alone in the twilight, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. The air shimmered, and before him materialized a being cloaked in light, its presence both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Sensing his fear, the being spoke, its voice steady yet soothing, like a river over smooth stones. "Do not tremble, Enoch. We are messengers of the eternal God. Today, you will rise with us to the heavens. But first, you must prepare your household and guide your children for the time you are away. No one must search for you until the Lord himself decrees your return." Enoch's breath caught, but he felt a strange calm settle over him, as if the words carried divine assurance. Without hesitation, he obeyed. He turned from the glowing figure and hastened back to his modest dwelling, his mind racing with the weight of what lay ahead. The path felt longer than usual, each step heavy with purpose. When he reached his home, he summoned his sons, Methuselah, Rahim, and Gad, to the hearth, where the firelight danced across their expectant faces. "My sons," Enoch began, his voice low but resolute, commanding their attention. "Listen well, for I stand at the edge of a mystery. Heavenly messengers have come to me, and I am to ascend with them to places unknown. I cannot say where I am bound or what awaits me there. His eyes, sharp with conviction, met each of theirs in turn. But hear this, do not stray from the Most High God for the fleeting temptations of this world. False powers, which did not shape the heavens or carve the earth, will lead only to ruin. Those who chase them are doomed to fade into nothingness. His sons leaned closer, hanging on his words as if they were a lifeline. Enoch's voice softened, but its intensity never wavered. May the Lord grant you courage to walk in his truth and wisdom to honor him always. Above all, do not come seeking me. I will return only when the Lord wills it. Trust in his timing. The air in the room seemed to hum with the gravity of his charge. No sooner had Enoch spoken his final words than a rush of wind filled the space. The radiant beings appeared again, their wings shimmering like molten gold, casting a glow that made the walls of the humble home seem to dissolve. Enoch's sons gasped, stepping back as the angels encircled their father. In an instant, he was lifted from the earth, his form rising as if weightless, carried upward by unseen hands. Higher and higher he went, the world below shrinking until it was but a speck beneath the vast canopy of the cosmos. The angels bore him to the first heaven, a realm of breathtaking splendor where light pulsed like a living thing and the air thrummed with divine harmony. Enoch's heart swelled with wonder, yet a quiet resolve anchored him. Whatever lay ahead, he knew he was in the hands of the Eternal, his path forever altered by this moment of ascension. And so, Enoch vanished into the heavens, leaving his sons to carry his words like a flame in their hearts, a beacon to guide them until the day the Lord would bring him back. The ascent to the first heaven. Enoch stood upon a sea of clouds, their soft, radiant edges shimmering beneath a sky that pulsed with divine light. This was no mortal realm, it was the first heaven, the threshold of celestial wonders where his sacred journey began. As he raised his gaze, his heart thundered with awe. Beyond the limits of human sight, a vast expanse unfolded, shimmering with mysteries that whispered of eternity. Before him stretched a celestial ocean, its boundless waves dwarfing every earthly sea. Its surface sparkled with a brilliance that seemed to hold the secrets of creation itself, rippling with colors no mortal tongue could name. Enoch's breath caught as he was ushered forward, his feet weightless on the gossamer clouds, toward a council of cosmic majesty. The elders and celestial stewards stood before him, their presence commanding yet serene, their eyes gleaming with the wisdom of ages. These were the guardians of the stars, tasked with orchestrating the dance of the cosmos. In a breathtaking sweep, Enoch beheld 200 angels, their wings vast and resplendent, shimmering like molten gold under the divine light. These celestial navigators soared through the heavens, tracing ancient pathways that bound the stars in their eternal waltz. Their movements were a symphony of grace, guiding the celestial bodies with precision that spoke of divine order. Enoch's heart swelled as he watched, each beat echoing the rhythm of the cosmos. When he turned his gaze downward, a new marvel met his eyes. Vast storehouses of snow loomed below, their crystalline walls glowing with an otherworldly frost. Towering angels, fierce and radiant, stood sentinel over these icy vaults, their presence as unyielding as the divine will they served. Enoch's eyes traced the birth of clouds, watching them rise like ethereal spirits, swirling upward to fulfill their sacred cycles before dissolving into the heaven's embrace. Then, a new wonder drew his attention, a place where dew was born. Its essence gleamed like olive oil, vibrant and alive, reflecting the delicate hues of every flower that ever bloomed on earth. This sacred reservoir pulsed with life, its beauty a mirror of creation's boundless splendor. Angels of quiet authority guarded these chambers, their hands guiding the delicate balance of opening and closing the dew's sanctum, each act a reflection of divine intent. Enoch stood, transfixed, as the first heaven unveiled its wonders. This was only the beginning, a glimpse of the divine tapestry woven by the Creator's hand. His soul burned with anticipation, knowing that greater realms awaited, each step drawing him closer to the heart of the divine. With a final glance at the celestial ocean and its guardians, he felt the pull of the heavens beckoning him onward, into the next chapter of his sacred ascent. Second Heaven. Enoch's journey carried him to the second heaven, a realm where darkness clung like a shroud, heavier and more oppressive than any shadow cast on earth. The gloom seemed alive, pulsing with an eerie weight that pressed against the soul. Within this suffocating void floated spectral forms, imprisoned beings, their shapes more dreadful than the blackness that held them. Their anguished wails echoed endlessly, a chorus of despair that pierced the silence, each cry sharp enough to chill the heart. Curiosity burned in Enoch as he turned to the radiant angels guiding him through this forsaken place. "Why do these spirits weep without end?" he asked, his voice trembling with awe. The angels, their faces solemn, answered, "These are the fallen, the ones who spurned the light of God. They chose to chase their own fleeting desires, pledging loyalty to their leader, now chained in the fifth heaven's depths." Their words hung heavy, like a warning carved in stone. Enoch's heart twisted with sorrow as he gazed upon the wretched beings. Their eyes, glowing faintly in the dark, locked onto him with desperate hope. "Servant of the Most High," they cried, their voices a haunting blend of plea and pain. "Intercede for us, we beg you." Their outstretched hands seemed to reach through the shadows, grasping for salvation. But Enoch, his own mortality weighing on him, shook his head gently. "I am but a man," he said, his voice soft yet resolute. "How can I, a mere mortal, pray for angels? I walk this path unsure of my own fate, uncertain who might one day plead for me." The moment lingered, heavy with the weight of their despair and his powerlessness. Then, with a silent gesture, the angels beckoned him onward, their light cutting through the darkness like a blade. Enoch cast one final glance at the tormented souls before following his guides, his heart still echoing their cries as they ascended to the third heaven. Third heaven. Enoch stepped into a realm that shimmered with unearthly splendor, a land so radiant it stole his breath. Trees stretched toward the heavens, their branches sagging under the weight of fruit that pulsed with vibrant hues and filled the air with an intoxicating sweetness. Each bite of this bounty seemed to hum with life, as if joy itself had taken root in the soil. At the heart of this celestial Eden stood the tree of life, a vision so breathtaking it defied words. Its leaves flickered with molten gold, crimson, and fiery amber, casting prisms of light that danced across the garden. The tree's scent was a symphony of fragrance, overwhelming yet comforting, and its fruit gleamed with every flavor known and unknown. Its roots plunged deep, straddling the delicate line between the mortal world and the divine. This paradise existed in a sacred balance, a bridge between the corruptible and the eternal. From its center, two springs bubbled forth, one gushing with honey and milk, the other spilling oil and wine. These streams wove into four mighty rivers, their gentle currents threading through the Garden of Eden before cascading into the world below, nourishing the cycle of creation. Every tree in this place bore fruit in endless abundance, barrenness and impossibility. Blessings spilled from every corner, and the air thrummed with the voices of 300 radiant angels, their hymns soaring in ceaseless praise to the Lord. Their song was a living thing, wrapping Enoch in awe. "This place," he whispered, voice trembling with wonder, "it's beyond imagination." The celestial beings at his side nodded, their faces glowing with quiet reverence. "Enoch," they said, "this garden is a reward for the faithful, for those who endure the fiercest trials with unwavering hearts. They are the ones who turn from evil, judge with fairness, feed the starving, clothe the bare, lift the broken, and shelter the orphan. They live justly, worship purely, and hold fast to their Creator." But then, the vision shifted. A shadow fell, and Enoch's heart clenched as he was shown another truth. Beyond the garden's light, a river of black fire roared, its flames licking the air with relentless hunger. The ground burned with searing heat, yet an icy chill gnawed at the bones. Thirst clawed at the throat, and shivers racked the body without mercy. Chains, cruel and unyielding, bound the condemned, while fearsome angels stood guard, their faces stern and their hands wielding instruments of torment. The cries of the damned echoed without end, a chorus of anguish that pierced the soul. Enoch recoiled, his voice breaking. "This place is a nightmare." The beings beside him stood unmoved, their voices heavy with solemn truth. "This is the fate of those who turn from the Creator," they said. "Here dwell the wicked, those who revel in sin, who corrupt the innocent, who practice dark arts and boast of their evil. Liars, thieves, sowers of envy and hatred, murderers without remorse, they reside here. They cursed their fellow man, exploited the poor, ignored the hungry, and abandoned the helpless. They bowed to lifeless idols, to gods carved by their own hands, blind and deaf to truth. This darkness is their eternal reckoning. Enoch's heart pounded as the weight of their words settled over him. The contrast between the garden's glory and this abyss of suffering burned into his soul. Yet, before he could speak, the beings gestured upward. "Come," they said, their voices steady but urgent. "There is more to see." And so, they led him higher, toward the mysteries of the fourth heaven, where new revelations awaited. The radiant dance of the fourth heaven. I stood in awe, my breath stolen by the celestial spectacle unfolding before me. The sun and moon carved their radiant paths across the heavens, moving with a precision that felt like the heartbeat of the universe itself. The sun blazed with a ferocity that dwarfed the moon's gentle glow, its golden light spilling across the cosmos like liquid fire. I watched, transfixed, as the sun surged forward, swift as a relentless wind, never pausing, never faltering, day or night. Flanking its blazing trail were four principal stars, each a beacon of light encircled by 1,000 smaller stars, shimmering like diamonds scattered across the void. 8,000 stars in total trailed the sun's daily journey, a dazzling entourage that lit up the heavens. 15 legions of angels attended it, their presence a constant hum of divine purpose, ensuring the sun's brilliance never dimmed. As night fell, 1,000 six-winged beings emerged, led by angels who parted the darkness with their radiant might, clearing the way for the sun to blaze through the shadows. Special beings, tasked with kindling the sun's eternal flame, kept its fire alive, their movements a sacred dance. Then, I saw them, creatures of myth and majesty, the phoenixes and Shikidri. Their lion-like feet anchored their massive forms, while their crocodile heads and rainbow-hued bodies gleamed with an otherworldly sheen. Each measured an immense 900 units, their 12 wings mirroring those of the angels. They hovered near the sun, carrying its heat and moisture as if bearing the very breath of God. The sun rose in the east, its ascent perfectly timed to the rhythm of seasons, months, and years. It emerged through 6 precise portals, each 61¼ stadia wide, gates of divine architecture through which the sun passed month after month. Its journey was a flawless balance, retracing the same paths as the seasons turned, completing 4 cycles to seal the year's sacred pattern. The men guiding me led me westward, where 6 more portals mirrored those of the east. These were the sunset gates, aligned with the solar cycle's 365¼ days. As the sun slipped through these western exits, its light lingered like a fading crown, watched over by 400 angels who guarded its celestial glow. Beneath the earth, the sun traveled a hidden path, resting for 7 great hours each night. In the 8th hour, it surged toward the east once more, its light fiercer than any fire. At that moment, the phoenixes and Shikidri sang, their voices a haunting chorus that stirred the heavens. Every bird in the sky joined in, wings beating in joyous celebration of the light-bearer's return. Their chant rose in unison, "The bearer of light has come. He shines upon all the earth. The God of the morning reveals himself in the sun's rays, illuminating the world." The divine light bathed creation, a symphony of radiance and warmth. The men unveiled the sun's sacred mechanics, explaining how its movements were measured through those hallowed gates, marking every hour of the year. The sun, they said, was among the mightiest of creations, its 28-year cycle restarting anew with divine precision. Then they revealed another wonder, 12 great portals stretching from west to east, through which the moon wove its own journey. The moon lingered 31 days at the first western gate, beside the sun's path, then moved through the others, 31 days at the second, 30 at the third and fourth, 31 at the fifth and sixth, 30 at the seventh, and so on, until it rested 28 days at the 12th. Like the sun, it returned through the eastern gates, its 354-day lunar year trailing the solar cycle by 12 days. These lunar seasons, balanced over 532 years, ensured harmony, with a quarter day adjusted every 4th year to keep time aligned. The sun, swift as no wind or angel could match, retraced its path from west to east, an eternal cycle of renewal. Each angel in this divine procession bore 6 wings, their movements synchronized in 7 sacred cycles every 19 years. In the intermediate heaven, celestial warriors filled the air with the thunder of drums and the sweet strains of stringed instruments. Their voices wove harmonies so exquisite, no mortal tongue could capture their beauty. The melodies washed over me, calming my soul and filling me with a serene, unshakable joy. As the men led me toward the 5th heaven, I carried the weight of this celestial vision, forever bound to the radiant dance of the 4th heaven, a testament to the eternal power that moves the stars and lights the world. The lament of the 5th heaven. In the ethereal expanse of the 5th heaven, I stood amidst a vast throng of towering beings, the Grigori, whose presence was as awe-inspiring as it was unsettling. Their forms, though human in likeness, loomed colossal, dwarfing even the mightiest giants of legend. Their faces, etched with the weight of ages, bore a profound sorrow, their eyes heavy with unspoken grief. No sound escaped their lips, no hymns, no whispers, only a haunting silence that seemed to choke the very air. Where was the worship, the radiant praise that should have filled such a celestial realm? Compelled by curiosity, I turned to the 2 men who guided me through this otherworldly plane. Why do they stand so still, so burdened with despair? I asked, my voice barely a murmur against the oppressive quiet. Why is there no song, no reverence here? Their answer came, low and solemn, as if sharing a forbidden truth. These are the Grigori, once radiant under their leader, Saturnine, but they turned from the Lord of Light. Many of their kin were cast into the abyss of the 2nd heaven, shrouded in eternal darkness. 3 among them forsook the divine throne and descended to Urban, a place of mortal soil. There, on the shadowed slopes of Hillman, they broke sacred oaths. Dazzled by the beauty of mortal women, they took them as wives, sowing corruption across the earth. Their unions birthed violent giants, and their impiety unleashed chaos. For this, the Lord's judgment was unyielding. Now, the Grigori bear the shame of their brother's fall, languishing here until the final reckoning on the day of the Lord. I gazed upon the silent multitude, their towering forms radiating both majesty and tragedy. I have seen your kin, I called out to them, my voice trembling yet resolute. I have witnessed the ruin their choices wrought. I offered a prayer for their redemption, but the men beside me shook their heads. The Lord has decreed they remain bound to this earth until its end, they said, their words heavy with finality. Yet something stirred within me, a flicker of hope, a challenge to their despair. Why do you linger in silence? I pressed, my voice rising. Why not return to the Lord's service, bow before his throne, and seek mercy before his wrath consumes all? The Grigori turned their weary eyes upon me, and for a moment, the air quivered with possibility. My words rippled through their ranks, carrying across the 4 divisions of the heavens like a clarion call. Then, as if stirred by some ancient memory, the silence shattered. For trumpets blared in unison, their mighty blast reverberating through the celestial vault. The Grigori rose as one, their colossal forms aligned in solemn unity. From their lips poured a song, deep, mournful, yet achingly beautiful. It swelled, a tide of sorrow and longing, ascending to the very throne of God. The sound enveloped me, shaking my soul with its raw power. The men beside me stood silent, their faces alight with awe. The Grigori's lament was both a confession and a plea, a chorus that wove their grief into the fabric of the heavens. As the final note faded, I knew I had witnessed something eternal, a moment when the fallen dared to sing again, their voices reaching for grace in the shadow of judgment. Journey to the 6th and 7th heavens. A celestial pull swept me upward, as if the stars themselves had summoned me to the 6th heaven. There, a radiant spectacle unfolded, 7 clusters of angels, their brilliance rivaling the sun's fierce glow. Their faces shimmered with a light beyond any earthly flame, each one a perfect mirror of the others in form, garb, and grace. These celestial guardians bore a sacred charge, upholding the divine order. They traced the arcs of stars, guided the moon's quiet dance, and steered the sun's blazing path, ensuring the cosmos spun in perfect harmony. When injustice or chaos threatened, their voices rang out, hymns of command and guidance, resonant and breathtaking, weaving beauty into the fabric of existence. Among them, angels held specialized roles, each a thread in the tapestry of creation. Some governed the rhythm of seasons, others the flow of rivers and seas. A few tended to the earth's bounty, nurturing every fruit and blade of grass to sustain life. Others, with solemn duty, recorded the deeds of human souls, every word, act, and fleeting thought etched into the divine ledger. Amid this celestial council, 6 phoenixes, 6 cherubim, and 6 winged beings sang in unison, their voices a symphony that defied description. No mortal tongue could capture the awe of their song, a ceaseless celebration before the throne of the Most High, where time itself seemed to dissolve. Then, my guides, 2 enigmatic men, beckoned me higher, to the 7th heaven. A blinding radiance engulfed me, and I stood amidst vast legions of flaming archangels, joined by unseen forces, powers, and thrones, beings aglow with countless eyes and shimmering light. 9 distinct orders formed a hierarchy of celestial splendor, each rank more glorious than the last. My knees buckled under the weight of awe, my body trembling. The men steadied me, their voices calm yet firm. "Be strong, Enoch. Do not fear." From a distance, they revealed the Lord, exalted on a throne so immense it seemed to anchor the heavens themselves. Heart-pounding, I dared to ask, what lies beyond? What dwells in the 10th heaven? Their reply was soft but certain, that is Aravat, where God himself resides. In that sacred realm, all celestial beings gathered, aligned upon 10 steps according to their divine roles. They bowed before the Lord, then returned to their places, their voices rising in gentle, eternal praise to the infinite light. Surrounding the throne, cherubim and seraphim, 6-winged, many-eyed beings, remained ever present, their devotion unwavering as they chanted, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. Heaven and earth are full of his glory." The air pulsed with their song, a rhythm that felt like the heartbeat of the universe. As I stood transfixed, the men spoke again, "Enoch, our task was to bring you only this far." Without another word, they vanished, leaving me alone at the edge of the 7th heaven. Terror and wonder crashed over me like a tidal wave. I collapsed, whispering, "What is happening to me?" In that moment, a magnificent presence appeared, Gabriel, the archangel, his radiance both fierce and comforting. "Be strong, Enoch," he said. "Do not fear. You are destined to stand before the Lord forever." My fear surged, threatening to unravel me. I had trusted my guides, believed they would carry me to the divine presence. But now, trembling, I felt my spirit falter. Yet Gabriel, with a gentleness like a breeze lifting a fallen leaf, raised me up. He carried me forward, and as I looked upward, I stood at last before the face of the Lord. The sight was beyond comprehension, a culmination of awe, terror, and wonder that bound my soul to the eternal. In that moment, I was no longer merely Enoch, but a witness to the divine, forever changed by the glory of the heavens. Journey through the celestial realms. My soul was lifted, carried beyond the veil of the earthly into the ethereal heights of the 8th heaven, known in ancient Hebrew as Musalat. Here, the cosmic dance of seasons unfolds, where the delicate balance between drought and deluge is orchestrated. Above, in shimmering splendor, dwell the 12 celestial constellations, their radiant forms woven into the fabric of the 7th heaven's canopy. I stood in awe, my heart racing as I gazed upon their eternal patterns. Then, I was whisked higher still, to the 9th heaven, Kokavim, a realm where the 12 zodiac signs hold court, fixed like jewels in the boundless firmament. Their silent majesty whispered of divine order, each sign a testament to the Creator's intricate design. But it was the 10th heaven, Aravat, the pinnacle of all existence, that stole my breath. There, I lifted my trembling eyes and beheld the face of the Lord himself. His visage burned like molten iron drawn from a blazing forge, glowing, sparking, a fire too fierce for words. How could I, a mere mortal, dare to describe the indescribable? The glory of the Lord overwhelmed me, a radiance no tongue could capture, no mind could fathom. His voice thundered with countless commands, each syllable resonating with infinite voices echoing through eternity. His throne, vast and unmade by human hands, towered above, surrounded by legions of cherubim and seraphim, their ceaseless songs weaving a symphony of divine praise. His beauty was eternal, his majesty beyond imagination. Struck by the weight of his presence, I collapsed, my face pressed to the celestial ground. Then, a voice, both mighty and gentle, broke through. "Be strong, Enoch. Do not fear. Rise and stand before me forever." At that moment, the Archangel Michael, radiant and resolute, lifted me from my prostration and brought me to stand before the Almighty. The Most High turned to his celestial court and declared, as if testing their devotion, "Let Enoch stand before me forever." The glorious beings encircling the throne bowed in unison, their voices rising as one, "So be it, according to the word of the Lord." The Lord then commanded Michael, "Strip Enoch of his earthly garments. Anoint him with my sacred oil and clothe him in the garments of my glory." Michael obeyed, pouring over me a heavenly oil that shimmered brighter than any star, soft as morning dew, its fragrance sweet and comforting. As it touched my skin, I looked upon myself and saw my body transformed, glowing like the celestial beings around me. I had become one of them, radiant and eternal. Next, the Lord summoned Pravel, an archangel whose wisdom surpassed all others, the keeper of divine records. "Bring the books from my storehouses," the Lord commanded, "and a pen that writes with speed. Give Enoch the finest scrolls, filled with revelation." Pravel approached, his presence calm yet profound, and began to unveil the mysteries of creation. He taught me the workings of the heavens, the earth, and the seas, their elements, their movements, the rhythm of thunder, the paths of the sun and moon. He revealed the origins of the winds, the countless angels, and the sacred songs they sing. He spoke of human life, its languages, its divine laws, and the praises worthy of the Creator. Every secret, every truth, he entrusted to me. Finally, Pravel said, "Sit and write. Record every soul destined to be born, and the places prepared for each, from now until eternity." He explained that every spirit was planned before the world's foundation, each soul paired with another for 30 days and 30 nights. Obeying the Most High, I sat and inscribed every vision, every secret, with meticulous care. By the end, I had filled 366 books, each page a testament to the divine revelations poured into me. The Lord called to me once more, his voice a blend of power and tenderness. "Enoch, come sit at my left hand beside Gabriel." I knelt in reverence, overwhelmed by his grace. He continued, "Enoch, my beloved, all that you have seen, every created thing, every future yet to unfold, has been revealed to you. Before time existed, I brought all things from nothing. I made the invisible visible, the spiritual clothed in the physical. Listen well, the words I have spoken to you, I have shared with no angel. The origin of existence, the vastness of my eternal kingdom, these I have hidden from them. But to you, I have unveiled it all. Before creation was seen, I walked the invisible, crossing the void from one end of heaven to the other, laying the foundations of all that is. Thus concluded my extraordinary journey through the 10 heavens. I traversed realms of blinding light, passed the prisons of fallen angels, stood among the storehouses of stars, and gazed upon the throne of the living God. I witnessed the fate of the rebellious and the eternal reward awaiting the faithful. Through every vision, one truth resounded with unshakable clarity: God reigns supreme over heaven and earth. Enoch was chosen not merely for his righteousness but to bear witness, to record a timeless testimony for every generation. This is no mere tale, it is a call to awaken. It warns of judgment, offers hope, and unveils an eternal purpose. Now, the question falls to you: what will you do with this revelation? Will you turn away, or will you seek justice, repentance, and faith? Will you walk toward the eternal kingdom, or live as though these truths were never spoken? The Book of Enoch is not just a record of visions, it is a divine summons. It reveals the majesty of God, the weight of his judgment, and the breathtaking beauty of his plan. May we choose faithfulness, that we too might one day stand before him, clothed in his glory, as Enoch was. Enoch's Odyssey through the 10 heavens unveiled a divine tapestry of radiant splendor, haunting sorrow, and unyielding judgment, etched forever in the annals of eternity. From the shimmering celestial ocean to the molten glory of God's throne, he bore witness to the Creator's supreme reign over all existence. His journey is no mere tale, it is a clarion call echoing through time, urging every soul to choose. Will you embrace the path of righteousness, seeking justice and faith, or turn away as if these truths were but whispers in the wind? The Book of Enoch stands as a blazing testament to God's majesty and his eternal plan, beckoning you to awaken, to repent, and to step toward the divine light that awaits the faithful.
you.